Hi guys, how are you doing? I'm Sergey from Russia, and today I want to tell you more about gradient fill in Final Cut. What does it mean gradient fill? It's a transition from one color to another. And you can use gradient fill for example in your titles, but you have to use it only in, for example, kids videos or any funny videos. Don't use it everywhere, because if you use it, for example, in subtitles, it will be difficult to read it, because in subtitles you have to use solid color, for example, white with shadow or with black shadow, or black with white shadow. uh, don't use gradient fill everywhere. So I have a background. This is a standard background on my timeline from category of generators background. The name of this background is organic, and I press Ctrl T hotkey to add basic title on my timeline. I want to increase size of this title, so I have to go to the inspector on the second button, the second icon, and then I increase size of this title, for example, to 288 88, and I change the change a font, for example, to comic script, and let's rename standard title to for example final cut. Okay, as you know, when you go to the face tab and show it, you can fill this title with solid color. You can choose it from this this thing. For example, green or blue or another color. And if you want to fill it with gradient fill, you have to check this thing to gradient. And you can see the standard gradient from maybe navy blue to dark blue. And if you want to change this standard gradient to your own gradient, you can open this tab gradient, and you can see one. I will name this thing as pencil, first pencil and the last pencil. And you can see the transition from this color to that color. If you want to make your own transition, your own gradient, you have to press this pencil and click color. You can select you can select color from these pencils, or you can choose it from this circle, color circle. For example, I want to have gradient from dark green. I choose it, and I change this thing from dark green to light green. So I think it's cool gradient from dark to light. And this is horizontal gradient. You can see. If you want to have the vertical gradient, you have to change the angle when you rotate this thing, or change this this percentage, the rotation of gradient changes. But if you can see, every letter has its own gradient from dark to light, from dark to light, from dark to light. But if you want to have gradient from through all the phrase, through all words, from this, from dark to light. How to do this thing? We will speak about it later, but now I want to tell you about another thing. You can change not only color of words, but you can change the gradient of opacity. Look at this thing. You have only one pencil on it, because opacity of all your words is 100%. Opacity 100%. If you want to have gradient from opacity 100 to opacity 0, you have to add, click here and add another pencil. I move it right to right, and I click on it, and I change opacity, this opacity, because this opacity changes only this pencil which I have selected. But this opacity changes opacity of all words. Look the difference. When I change this opacity, I can see the gradient. The gradient of opacity. And when I change this opacity, it's change all over the words. They become transparency all words. So if you don't want to use gradient of opacity, you can take this pencil and drop it out, and you can see the animation of disappearing of this pencil. So let's tell about another things about gradient fill of color. For example, you want to use any gradient that you have found in the internet. For example, on the site webgradients.com, you can see various types of gradients. For example, I like this gradient. I have to zoom it, and I need to save it on my desktop. I press hotkey Command-Shift-4, and I draw the vertical rectangle, and then this rectangle, the image, is saving on my desktop. I import it in my Final Cut. Here it is. And I want to use this gradient in my basic title. What I have to do? I put it here under the basic title. Then I move my playhead here. Then I select my basic title. I go to the Face tab, show it, and I need to choose first point and the last point. I click on the first pencil, then click to select the color. I use this picker and select dark blue color. Then I click to this pencil, then I use this thing again, and I choose the second color, the last color. So I have a gradient here, the same is here. Then I don't need this thing again. I don't need it, this clip. So I delete it, and I see that my basic title have the same gradient as we customized. If you want, you can change the angle to gradient, for example, from light to dark, and this is vertical gradient. What person do you need? I don't know, maybe as you want. For example, 90 degrees. So this is the linear type of gradient, and if you want, you can change it to the radial type of gradient. And every letter has its own radial gradient. If you rotate if you rotate an angle of this gradient, there is nothing changes. Because when if you rotate the circle, for example, blue circle, if you rotate it, nothing changes. And here it is. Nothing changes because every letter rotates, every fill of every letter rotates, and nothing changes when you choose radial. And of course, if you choose linear gradient and change the angle, you can see the changing of it. If you want, you can reset these degrees and you have this type of gradient. Let's go on. For example, you want to have this type of gradient. It's difficult to make it, but we will try. I put this picture on my timeline, on my timeline above the basic title. Then I select clip of basic title, and I need to go to the face tab. Then, first of all, I want to select this pencil. Then I need to select with picker this color. Click, and you can see the color of pencil has changed. So you can see there is only 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. If you see on this line, let's imagine that this is 100% and this is 100%. But first line from 0 to 25%. The second line from 25% to 50%, and the third line from 50% to 75%, and the last green line from 75 to 100%. And we need to move this point to the 25, because this part 25%, we need to move it to 25% location of this line. So you can you can move it by hand, or you can here put 25, enter. It was the first color. Then we need to make the second color. I click here, then I click to this pencil, then to color I use this picker. The second color I use. You can see the gradient now, but this gradient is too smooth. But I want to have the straight gradient with straight border before straight border from one color to another. So I need to move this pencil closer to yellow pencil. How to do it? You can move it by hand, or for example you can change the location in percent to for example, if this 25, this will be 26%, and we can see the straight border from this color to another, and it was the yellow color. Then we need to make this part, so I click here. So this is the border of this border of blue color. Then I move it to 50%, 50, and this is it's the last. It's the end of yellow line. Then just now we need to make red line. I click here, then I select this pencil, then color. I use this big point, click to red color, and I need to move this pencil closer to this. It was 50%, and this pencil will be, for example, 51%. Okay, so I need to make another red color, another red pencil. Click here, and I move it to 75%. It's here, 75% of all 100%. So 75. Okay, and this pencil will be a green color. I click it, then I click to the colors, then I click to this picker, click to green color, and I move this pencil closer to red. 76%. So we have made the gradient, and let's see. We don't need this flag. I delete this, and you can see the gradient. Of course, you can see. Of course, you can change it if you want. For example, it's to it's too small of yellow color, and if you want to make it more, you can change this, for example, to 35, this blue to 35%, and this yellow to 34%, and we can see that some things have changed. You can see yellow color here. Okay, and for example, if you want to change the angle to the horizontal gradient, and I said that every letter have its own gradient. But if I want to have this gradient from this letter to this letter, what I need to do? We need to put this template here. The basic title need to be above this this template. Then we select basic title, go to blend mode here, this tab, blend mode, and change it to stencil alpha, and let's reset to operations. I press Command Z, Command Z, and first of all I need to rotate this flag to the horizontal position. So I rotate it to 90%, and I need to scale it in horizontal way. So I change the scale Y. I increase this because we have rotated this this flag, and so we need to change scale Y, not scale X. So I think it will be okay. And then we change Final Cut basic title blend mode from normal to stencil alpha, and we can see the gradient which we want, but we don't see the background. How to make it again? Okay, we need to select basic title and this flag, and then press Option G to make the compound clip. I press OK, and so we can see the our title, and we can see the background. If you want, you can press Command T. Command F. Command F. Oh, so excuse me. You can press Shift T. I'm sorry, Shift T to make this title smaller. And if you want bigger, if you want smaller, you can put it where you want, and this is that's it. It's all what I wanted to say, to tell you about gradient fill. I hope that you enjoyed my video. So let's see in the next tutorial. Goodbye.